How dare you, black, brown, and red brothers and sisters? How dare you celebrate the murder of our ancestors alongside of the white man? How dare you celebrate Thanksgiving with the goddamn white man? I always point us back to our 19th century ancestors. I know we had a history prior to the 19th century, but I point you back to the 19th century because those freedom fighters, many of those freedom fighters and revolutionaries, had the right idea when it came to responding to the injustices, the wickedness, and the destruction of the white man. We just had the case of the minivan being shot up with our sister and her kids in it, the youngest of which was 6 years old. We trying to figure out how we should respond. Our 19th century ancestors that were true freedom fighters and warriors, they give us the answer. It ain't this damn paperwork. Well, we need to go file a petition. We need to protest. We need to march. We need to boycott. That's not how you deal with the enemy. These people are your open enemies. And I'm talking about the white supremacists, the black, brown, red, and yellow white supremacists. Let's look at this video clip and see how one of our ancestors, one of our red ancestors, dealt with this peckerwood. How he responded to the brutality of this goddamn white man.
He soon discovered it was a lot easier to shoot Indians that were sitting in a peaceful village than trying to find them as they were running over the prairie. And so we had what is known as the Sand Creek Massacre.
I saw men anointing fingers to get rings off and cutting off ears to get silver ornaments. I saw a party with the same major take up bodies that had been buried in the night to scalp them and take off ornaments. Next morning, after the Indians were dead and stiff, these men pulled out the bodies of the squaws and pulled them open in an indecent manner. It was the third Colorado men who did these things.
The goddamn white man.
The Indians erupted in retaliation, and the biggest race war the nation would ever know went into full swing. Ranches and stage stations burned, telegraph wires were cut, solitary groups of travelers invariably died. War wasn't working. The white man would have to go to a more potent weapon, the treaty. With the blessing of the Great Father in Washington and his top-hatted officials, great tribal leaders and their 10,000 followers darkened the hills for 3 weeks near Fort Laramie in 1866. Gifts were given freely, including guns and ammunition. The Indians were told the government wanted no more than peace and permission for white travelers to use the Bozeman Trail, a perilous route through Powder River country. Travelers would stay on the road and do no hunting. Many of the chiefs signed the agreement, but the government men should have paid more attention to who did not sign it.
One of the most militant of the leaders was a man named Red Cloud, an Oglala leader, and he laughed at the people trying to negotiate the treaty. He said, the Great Father
sends us presents and wants us to sell him the road, but the white chief goes with soldiers to steal the road before the Indians say yes or no.
He would soon make his displeasure with the white man evident.
Again, how dare you celebrate Thanksgiving beside the goddamn white man? You have 364 other days of the year to give thanks. If you want to give thanks. But you give thanks when the white man gives thanks. And the white man is just celebrating his defeat of our ancestors. Learn from our 19th century warriors, freedom fighters, and revolutionaries. Learn how they dealt with the injustices of the goddamn white man. Happy Thanksgiving.